Hello everyone, my name is Thaneri and today I'll be talking about Egyptian fractions. I would like to first start off by saying an acknowledgement to country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples today. I'll be talking about what Egyptian fractions are, their cultural background, how they work, and their mathematical and educational impact. What are Egyptian fractions? In Egypt, the use of unit fractions developed in response to practical realities of managing harvests, keeping accounts, and addressing religious or civic needs. The choices Egyptians made in how they recorded and used fractions, using sums of unit fractions, relate directly to the administrative and ritual context in which they worked. Studying these fraction methods and their evolution alongside local social and economic demand help explain why Egyptian mathematics continue to interest researchers and teachers today. The cultural background. In the Old Kingdom, Egypt's social and political life centered on tightly organized bureaucracy. Scribes kept track of harvest yields and day-to-day supplies, working with local officials to balance what was available across seasons of plenty and shortage as the Nile's flood levels shifted. Reliable records helped streamline decisions about how grain and goods were shared within communities. The Egyptian number system, built on addition rather than place value, was closely tied to this administrative work and the ideal of social justice known as month. How these Egyptian fractions worked. Unlike our modern fractions, Egyptians almost always used sums of fractions with a numerator of 1. For example, 7/15 would be written as 1/3 plus 1/5. Egyptian scribes needed practical ways to divide food and goods fairly. The Rhind mathematical papyrus shows how they created reliable and transparent methods for breaking down quantities, a practice that helped streamline audits and reinforce fairness in distributing resources. The mathematical and educational impact. The Egyptian system of unit fraction was used for centuries and shaped the mathematics of later cultures, including classical Greek and medieval Europe. These figures, like Fibonacci, drew on these methods. Today, historians and mathematicians still study the logic behind Egyptian fractions, not only to understand the ancient practice, but also to address the questions in number theory. Teachers and researchers using Egyptian fraction techniques to help students make sense of fractions in a new way and to tackle advanced problems in mathematics and computer science. These methods offer practical tools for exploring fraction concepts and have inspired approaches to both teaching and research that value flexibility and exploration. To conclude, Egyptian fraction techniques were closely tied to daily life. Scribes and trades used them to share resources and settle accounts. Their methods were shaped by practical demands, and their influence can be seen in how later societies approach problem solving in mathematics. Their lasting influence reminds us that mathematical ideas are shaped and given meaning by the societies that use them. Thank you so much for listening. Here are my references for the information that I provide. Thank you.